Welcome everybody, I'm Maťo Mišík and this is my very special guest Pierangelo Mezzabarba. Welcome.
Thank you Maťo.
We are in a location at the Guitar Armory guitar show in Prague, a day before, and Pierre is here to presenting your awesome Mezzabarba amps.
Yes, and to support my Czech distributor Mountain Music, Adamli.
Yeah. So it's a good chance to have an interview with you and just talk about everything world needs to know.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Let's go.
So let's start with the history, like where it's all start, like where came inspiration to start building amps.
It's a strange story because I was a good guitar player, but not so good to be a great guitar player. But the real passion for me was the tone, the guitar tone. So I started because my brother-in-law, Marco Masotti, is a guitar player and an electronic engineer. So he taught to me everything about the electronics. And I started to build the amp with him. That's the reason we founded in 2003 Masotti Guitar Devices.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the mother of Mezzabarba Custom Amplification.
And you were thinking like you missing something on other amps to start your own amps?
I was a Marshall guy. I'm still a Marshall guy, and I love the Marshall tone. But I like the high-gain solution of the 80s, like Soldano, Bogner, guys that evolved the original Marshall idea.
Yeah.
So I started to study Soldano, Bogner, Marshall, Dumble, why not, a lot of manufacturers, and I tried to find my solution, my personality, because the most important thing in the market is to have a unique personality. So Mezzabarba started from there, and Masotti before Mezzabarba, because Masotti was founded in 2003. At the 10th anniversary, I founded Mezzabarba Custom Amplification, but not a different brand. Mezzabarba is a part of Masotti Guitar Devices that still exists. So Masotti is like Soldano and Marshall had a baby. Mezzabarba is the same, but with a different philosophy.
Good. So what do you think make Mezzabarba different from the others?
I think absolutely the tone, because I'm a tone lover and I search the best tone possible day after day, so I'm never satisfied about the tone, so I try to improve the sound of my amps day after day, and I hope to reach the real dynamic, the real feeling that an amp like a Mezzabarba can produce in a guitar player, because there is a direct connection between the guitar player and the musical instruments. And the guitar amp is still the most important part of the setup of a guitar player. So can communicate good things, good vibes, or bad things. That's really important, the dynamic, the tone, the real tone that you can reach with your guitar, with any guitar. And one of the most important thing for Mezzabarba is the reliability. And I think the immediate support, if you have problems, my hope is and my target is to avoid this, but the immediate support from customers is really important.
So I can see on your amps like there is not too much complicated system. It's more simple than others. Like, what is your philosophy behind?
Yeah. I love simple things, simple amps. I grew up with a JC M800 single channel one, so I want just to plug in my guitar and play. Just that. My motto is any switch is a compromise. So I don't like a lot of functions in an amp, and I prefer to stay simple, to stay pure. That's the real reason, because if you have a lot of channels, a lot of function, maybe you can lose some signal, some sound. That's why my favorite amps are the M0 Overdrive, the Skill, the Apocalypse, because they are simple, and I'm really in love with single channel amps. So I use a 101 as a guitar player. I use a 101 and the Z series, so the new synthesis with a lot of satisfaction, because there is a direct feeling with my hands. Trinity and Nirvana preamp were a big challenge for me, because I wanted to maintain the sound with a lot of features. And was difficult, but I think I reached the point.
And how important is like component selections and quality?
Yes, the quality of components is really important, because think about a chef. The quality of ingredients makes the difference. So I try to put the best components I can find in the world, around the world, to have the best sound possible. But the quality of components has another side, important side, that is the reliability. So if you have good components and you tried them very well, you have good reliability, and this is really important for me.
Yeah. Like it reminds me like what we know about Italian food is like simple food but really good quality components.
Yeah,
and
think about
this is like same for amps.
Yeah. Spaghetti with tomato and olive oil. You have to have good ingredients for that.
To have a good dish.
Yeah.
Right. So it's nice, like you continue in the legacy of Italian food in your
Yes, in some way.
I always, when I checking your website, you mentioning like you have like special transformers, like maybe it's like original.
Yes.
What is?
Yes, a partnership with Onori Transformers. That is a factory in Italy. They work with me since 1998, because I'm an old guy and I started very young. I can't find at the moment better transformers than them. Yeah, they are the best transformers around, so I want to use them for the future as well. They are unbelievable.
It's big mystery about transformers.
Exactly.
Like everybody's saying like old ones were best and now it's not that good. And so
and the transformers are like food, as you said. They are simple components, and the quality of ingredients makes the difference.
Yeah, makes sense. Actually, I was a couple of weeks ago in Poland in a guitar festival, and there was Eric Steckel himself, and he's your artist.
Yeah.
So how it begins, how it starts, the connection?
Yeah, we met at the Name show in LA, in Los Angeles in 2018, and the feeling was great. So we started a good partnership, a collaboration, and soon I became one of my most important artists. Eric is a great guy and one of the best guitar players in the world. So I'm so lucky to work with him. We started a signature model, the M0 Overdrive, that brings the Eric Steckel name. It's a bit different from the M0 Overdrive that is more focused on the high mids. The Eric Steckel model is more focused on low mids. So more bass, a bit more gain, more body, and maybe the sound is more American than British. When you think about the M0 Overdrive, you can think about a sort of high gain JCM 800. When you think about the Eric Steckel model, it's a sort of Soldano with that mid Marshall, and they had a baby. Something like that. So
good. And what about other artists? Like, can you mention some others?
The artists,
yeah,
a lot of artists. He worked with Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, George Lynch, Mark Tremonti, Iron Maiden, Adrian Smith,
great,
John Jorgenson, the guitar player for Elton John, 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor and Alessandro Cortini, Europe.
Great.
Wow, John Norum. So I don't remember all of them. So there are a lot.
So great. We spoke about Eric Steckel, and basically a few days ago you released new product, and it is the pedal Eric Steckel.
Yeah, just some days ago. This is the Bluestorm. This is an overdrive distortion pedal, and was born in collaboration with Eric Steckel. So we wanted to put in it the distortion and the dynamic of the M0 Overdrive of the Eric Steckel. So maybe it's a great solution for all the stages when you tour, when you don't have your backline amps. So you can use something like that to have a similar tone. It's not the same because there are no tubes, but a good simulation with op amps.
Great. So there is inside a very small, the big amp inside.
Yeah, exactly. It's a sort of M0 Overdrive in a box.
Yeah, great. I heard Eric use it already. So you have some feedback from him?
Yeah. He has the prototype, the number 0. He has the number 1 as well of these pedals. He started during the tour because sometimes he could find the M0 Overdrive on the stage. So
the amp.
Yeah. So this was the solution. Yeah. A great solution for Eric. That was my beta tester as well for the pedal.
So we have maybe a lot of, maybe all the amps you're making, but what is your I don't want to say favorite one, but like maybe one you are proud most of it?
Yeah, I love all of them, obviously, because they were born from a desire, from a need. But anyway, I think my favorite is still the M0 Overdrive. It's my first amp for Mezzabarba, and still my favorite because the simplicity and the soul that I can find in that amplifier.
So, like, are you try to cover, like, let's say, all style of guitar needs, or you have a maybe more focused, like, let's say, metal player or rock players or something like that?
Yeah, maybe rock players, but you can play any genre of music with Mezzabarba amps. From pop to blues, maybe not jazz, but you can do it. Fusion, rock, hard rock, blues metal, why not? And metal as well, because we have the versatility is in the guitar player, sure, but the versatility is in the guitar amp as well. And I think that a simple amp with some tricks can be a good point to be a more versatile guitar player. Yeah, I think Mezzabarba amps are really versatile, yes.
You're right. Like when I try your amp, I was quite amazed, like from the clean, which was awesome clean and still like martially clean, and then you can go really like a pure mid gainy rock middle ground, and then the high gain is really like a proper high gain. So yeah, you can cover.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that the secret is that the amps feel the guitar player. So if you are a good metal guitar player, you can play metal with a Mezzabarba. If you are a great rock guitar player, it's the same. So if you want to play blues, you have a great soul for blues, you can play blues in the best way.
Yeah. So maybe let's try cover a couple of your amps and introduce. Maybe not all of them, but let's pick some. I can see there is a like new one.
Yeah. We have a lot of amps here because I'm here in Prague for to support Adam Lee and Montauk Music, that is my distributor for Czech Republic, and we have a lot of amps here. We have Synthesis 20 combo here, that is simple amp, single channel, easy to carry because it's light, very powerful despite the 20 watt, and very versatile. Sounds great with pedals, without pedals, with guitar player or without guitar player. I'm joking. We have the skill in two versions, the standard skill head and the Eric Steckel skill head. That is an idea of Adam Lee that pushed me a lot for that model and that modification. So we have the first one here in Prague, the first ever made. We have here the M0 Overdrive with a 412, the M0 cab, and that is, I told you, my favorite amp maybe, and my first creation for Mezzabarba. We have one of the most important amp of the production line, that is the Apocalypse, the 106L6. That is a wonderful amplifier, super versatile, from blues to metal, unbelievable, because you normally think about the Apocalypse, the name and something like you think about a metal amp, just a metal amp. But the Apocalypse is really versatile. I told you, he can understand the guitar player. An Apocalypse is a really versatile amp. So we have the Apocalypse 412, that is a beautiful 412 with a lot of definition and punch, and it's great on the bass range and the tightest sounds. So we have all the line here, all the production, and I want to say many thanks to Adam for being here.
Yeah, it's great. Adam, get us together.
Yeah.
It's great. You mentioned the cabs, like what speakers you like to use?
I used for a lot of years the greenbacks. They were my favorite speakers. I started with the standard greenbacks, then I switched to Heritage series made in UK. That is a wonderful speaker. Last times I switched to Vintage 30 Celestion, like greenbacks, but the new ones made in UK. They are, for me, the best speaker in the market today. So I prefer them to the Heritage greenbacks. Yes, this is a big revolution for me. Yeah, because I never liked the old Vintage 30s. But the new Vintage 30s made in UK are unbelievable.
Great, great. I think that the greenbacks and Vintage 30s sound quite different, right?
Yeah, sounds different, but finally Vintage 30 has the dynamic of greenback with a different tone.
Yeah, sure.
More maybe fuller in the mid. It's a sort, for me, the actual Vintage 30 made in UK, it's a sort of greenback that sounds better.
And my question, like your big amps are mostly 100 wattage, and there is like the scale is 30 or 40, and let's say personally, when I try to figure out which amp is good for me, maybe can you try to explain for the other guitarists like differences between 100 and 30 watt amp?
Yeah, sure. I'm a 100 guy, 100 watt guy.
Okay.
Because and a 412 guy. But I can understand that someone needs something easy to carry, something easier to carry. And the skill is here for that. So normally I prefer the 100 watts because they have more dynamic. And the dynamic depends from the current. So when I designed the skill, I put in the skill the same current that you normally have in a JCM 100 watt amplifier. So you have all the current that you need for the dynamic and the tone that you can bring from the M0 overdrive, because the circuit is really similar. So it's true that the skill is a mini M0 because the circuit is similar, but you don't miss the dynamic of a 100-watt amplifier. So you can say, what's the difference between a 100-watt amp and a 30-watt amp? The 100-watt amp is wider and the 30-watt is tighter. Is more in the middle. So
you mean sound-wise?
Yeah,
like,
sound-wise, absolutely. Yeah, so they are different. Who prefers the 30 watts? I prefer the 100 watt still. Yeah.
Our light is off, dead, but we can continue.
Yeah.
So, what is different? Like, is it problem to play your 100 amp in a really lower volume, not to lose the sound?
Yeah, no problem, because if you have a good master volume and the sound of the amp is good, you don't have problem at bedroom volume.
Okay,
so,
okay.
So you can play a 100 watt amp at any volume, and I prefer it. When I play low volume with a 100 watt amp, I'm really happy and I don't miss anything. So.
Because I was thinking, like, let's say that big transformator and tubes needs more juice into it to produce the right tone.
But not now. If I have a plex here, want to reach the distortion of the power amp, I have to push the amp. But now the technology is something different. So.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know I need maybe 100 amp now, and some more money to buy it. But yeah. There is one interesting product. It looks like a preamp, and I'm still not sure if it's like a pedal or preamp. And so, can you explain?
Yeah,
what is it?
Yeah, it's both. It's the even drive that is
biggest pedal on market, or good-looking preamp pedal.
When you have the tubes in a pedal. Maybe you need space and dimensions. Anyway, sounds so great because it's the preamp section of the M0 overdrive in a box.
So it's proper preamp.
Yes, see,
full
yes.
voltage.
Yes, exactly. 400 volt DC. So inside, so high voltage. It's like M0 overdrive, but in a preamp box. So it's really comfortable if you want to put it in a bag or in the luggage, or simply to use as a main pedal for your distortion.
And is it how you connect it to the setup? Like, is it going to directly to the power amp, or is it going to do like normal input of the amp?
You can do it. You can go
Both.
to the power amp, but I prefer it in front of the amp. When you have a double preamplification, that is a strange concept, but really interesting, because you have double harmonics. So it's really interesting. And I started to study the double preamplification from Eddie Van Halen and David Gilmour. So applied a lot of things that I learned from them to the even drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can see, like, you are pure analog lover, and you are guitar player also. So you use. Are you using your amps?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or are you playing like Marshalls and stuff?
I like Marshalls. I like iWatts, like Soldanos, Dumbles. Why not? When you can find it, because they are rare. Anyway, I can't play digital, man. I can't.
Really?
No, impossible for me. I can't feel the amp, the guitar.
Oh, interesting.
That's my problem, maybe.
So you don't use it?
No.
Ah,
But I'm not against digital. I'm not against the digital technology, because I'm a lover of the second generation of digital units like TC Electronic 2290 and PCM 70 of Lexicon H3000 Eventide. So I'm a big fan of those units. But I think I can play with a simulation of an
you
amp.
mean like a digital amp simulation?
Because my soul is not linked.
Can you try to explain what is it? Like what is the problem when you play digital?
I don't feel my my flow. I can play just that, because I don't have the dynamic of a real amp. Because I think that the guitar, the electric guitar is a musical instrument when you have an electric guitar and a guitar amplifiers. They have a big interaction between them. You can't play a guitar without guitar amplifier. Anyway, I guess that I think that digital technology is really important today. It's very comfortable. You can do a lot of things with digital, but it's not my cup of tea.
I understand.
Just that.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah. You mentioned you playing your amps. Like what do you play when you playing with your band? Like what amp you playing using?
I use M0 Overdrive with my original band, Doom Generator, and I use now the 101R with the Pink Floyd tribute band. With a double on preamplification, as I said before. Yeah, interesting. So a lot of pedals, an amp before the other amp, with a load box. It's a complex system, really complex, difficult to wire. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe let's look at the future of the Mezzabarba, and maybe you can give some advice to players and builders.
Yeah, we have a lot of products that are incoming on the bass player side and guitar player side. So it will be really interesting. I can't say more than that. For new builders, I suggest to be loyal, pure, for your passion, to your passion. Just that. Don't work for money, because that's not the target. You can be a good lawyer maybe, or a good dentist for if you want money. But if you work for music, you have to work with real passion.
It's nice. So it was really nice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mato. Thank you.
I'm happy you are here, and we speak about important stuff. Maybe first time in English.
Yeah, it's true.
So I wish you just to be happy with your work and with your music, and just enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. The same to
Continue.
you. The same.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mato.
Have a nice time, and ciao.
Ciao belli.